So weeks have gone by, and here I am still completely obsessed with the idea of you, the book, the movie. I'm listening to August Moon, and I've even been listening to the audiobook for the first time, which is read by the author, and it's awesome. And I need to put this obsession to bed, but before that happens, I want to talk about my thoughts on the book versus the movie. I'm a fan of both, but there are some huge differences that might put you off to one over the other. So I'll be talking about that today. Welcome to Spill the Reads. I'm Caitlin, and let's talk about it. By the way, there's definitely going to be a lot of spoilers in this video about the differences, but at least before I talk about the differences in the ending, I will give a little alert before I talk about the ending. So the idea of you follows the story of Solène, an almost 40-year-old divorced gallerist who ends up falling in love with the 24-year-old frontman of her daughter's favorite boy band. At least this is the movie plot, but the book is very different. So one of the main differences is the age difference is not the same in the book and the movie. And basically, I feel like all the changes that they made for the movie seemed like to make it likable to a large audience. They got rid of anything that could have been perceived as like slightly problematic. I mean, Hayes Campbell was never, under 18 or anything. In the book, he's 20 years old. So when they age him up to 24, to me, this is a big age difference. I think 24 is a better age, but I want to talk more about this age difference exactly. Because I read this book after watching the trailer, and so I had already imagined Hayes Campbell as Nicholas Galtazine, who I think is, very attractive 29-year-old actor, and I'm in my 30s, so, to me, I feel comfortable with this age. And when you think about it, if he's actually 20, like, I see the 29-year-old actor, but if we actually look at photos of him when he's 20, he was in this Amazon movie back in 2016 where he plays a boarding school student, and he must be around 20 or 21 in that. He does look a lot younger. So yes, I will admit that reading that he's 20 in the book is a little bit weird, and it's not even like she mentions it once or twice and we don't hear about it. She's constantly saying that he's 20 and that he's so young. And listening to the audiobook, I've jotted down some kind of parts that felt a little bit creepy because of the age difference. There's a scene where he's being dressed by, his little designers, and she's like, I couldn't help but ogle. He was a vision. Smooth, creamy skin, broad shoulders, taut abs, sculpted arms. He was flawless. This is what 20 looked like. That sweet spot between adolescence and the moment things begin to unravel. Some other parts, she often says oh, he's barely an adult. I could feel it through his pants. Oh, the wonders of 20. There was something almost boyish about him. It almost felt wrong, almost. So we're constantly being reminded that he's 20 and she's 40. And, a lot of it takes place in American City, so he can't even drink alcohol when they go out. So the age difference is just this constant thing. And, in the movie, he just seems a lot older than that because obviously he is. Another character who was aged up significantly was the daughter, Izzy. So in the movie, I think she's 15, although I don't know how old this actress is in real life. She looks older to me, around 18 or something. In the book, she's this little 12-year-old tween, and she always needs her mommy, and it just feels so much different because she's so young and really needs her mom. And Solène is just often gone when I feel like Izzy needs her mom, like she gets her period when Selene is off like somewhere in Europe with Hayes, and her dad is getting remarried or like might be proposing, and so she's always like calling her mom, like always trying to get her mom to come home, doesn't know where her mom is because Selene is not saying where she is. So this is another thing that was kind of sad in the book, was that you kind of felt like Selene, at least in the beginning, was not really juggling her daughter and Hayes very well. You feel like she kind of disregards her daughter also because in the book, Hayes is her favorite, singer in the boy band. And in the movie, they say that it was like Rory. So they like make it, that to me is a huge change because she's literally dating her daughter's like dream boy. And her daughter has like posters of him. I jotted this down. I'd wondered how I ended up here with the boy from Isabel's posters and what that would mean for our relationship going forward. She would hate me, and yet still. So yeah, we really don't see that in the movie. We feel like Selene is always kind of there for her, and the daughter just seems to be at least relatively supportive of Hayes. She's like, oh, is he a feminist? Like, why would you break up with like a kind feminist? So those are the big kind of like differences for me. Other things that I felt were missing were like all of the other backstories with other characters. There's a lot more like drama that goes on, for example, the drama that helps you see more of like who these characters really are. Like Hayes, we learn that he lost his virginity to an older woman when he was 14, and this was actually his the bandmate's sister. And there's just a lot more drama there, drama with the bandmates. There's like kind of creepy stuff that goes on with the bandmates partying with like really young girls that are probably not 18. There's just a lot more kind of like iffy stuff that it seems like the movie decided to weed out, which was probably a good idea to have if you wanted everyone to like the movie. Okay, so other big differences between the book and the movie. Obviously, the movie is a lot less explicit. So in the book, you really get all the details. This is just definitely something that you have to read. They just couldn't do it on screen. All right, it's time to talk about the ending. So spoiler alert, we're going to talk about the differences. I cried my eyes out in the book and in the movie, but with the book, it was more distress, heartbreaking tears. I felt absolutely destroyed after reading that. Couldn't understand why it had to end like that. I mean, I respect the author's creative choice, and so be it. Maybe there will be more in the future. I think I saw in some interviews that she was a little bit coy about saying, it's not like she killed off the characters. Like, there could always be more. And since I follow her on Instagram, like, I know that she is working on more stuff, more books. So who knows? Maybe there will be the idea of you two, and we'll get to see them get back together. I don't know. I hope so. We'll see. But in the movie, obviously, there is kind of this like Hollywood fairy tale, ambiguous, happy ending. And yeah, I cried. It was just very emotional. Like, these actors just have such good chemistry. Like, I had a lot of fun watching them, even though it wasn't the same as the book. They were really cute together. And so, in the ending, in the movie, we see 5 years later, after Selene breaks up with Hayes, they say, let's revisit this 5 years later. And you kind of think, Selene is like, oh, he probably doesn't remember me, whatever. And then he shows up at the art gallery 5 years later, and they smile at each other, and she's kind of tearing up, and that's how it ends. So between the two, the movie and the book, you know, I still, since I read and watched them within a few weeks, I do blend them together. Like I said earlier, I really imagine the actors as the characters. And if I hadn't been so obsessed with the book and the hype around it in the first place, I probably just would have thought it was like a cute Amazon, you know, romantic movie that had really awesome music, you know, that I'm still listening to. But because I was so wrapped up in the intensity of the relationship in the book, I just felt like I connected more with that. But I'm curious what other people think. How do you feel about the book versus the movie? And also, again, the audiobook is really good, read by the author, and she has this amazing like British accent, and she does a French accent, and it's just really fun to like read, to listen to the person who actually wrote it, like read it to you. So that's what I have to say about The Idea of You. Also, if you haven't watched my previous video talking about the whole Harry Styles fan fiction debate, I reveal some of the inspirations behind the character of Hayes Campbell, so you can go ahead and watch that. On this channel in general, I'll be doing videos talking about books, some books to movies, lots of talk about thrillers, and books that revolve around awesome female characters. So I hope you'll join me, and thanks again for watching.